Well, that picture that was taken in 1991, in my opinion, is got to be one of the best, if not the best, examples of what I believe to be authentic, untouched forms of spirit photography, maybe in the world today. The idea is that this was before, Photoshop was out there in 1991. So, I mean, there was still that possibility that people could manipulate photographs. However, this is, again, getting back to the idea of having something on a film rather than simply a digital format or file that you can easily manipulate. Many people, I would say the vast majority, believe that it is authentic. There are some people to this day that still believe that it's a fake, that it's a hoax, that it's some sort of manipulation. Maybe they never saw the negatives. Maybe they were never given the entire amount of evidence, indicating that this is not something that was retouched. If they were to examine the negative, they would probably change their mind. I have seen literally probably thousands and thousands of photographs that people have sent me from around the world. Beginning of probably a little more than 25 years ago, I offered the people the opportunity to send me their photographs for free to analyze, to look at, videos, still pictures, and even EVPs. But mostly my forte has really been into photography and video. And in that time, I would say probably 85% of those are hoaxes or naturally explained. It's just that simple. When people take pictures, they very often jump to the conclusion that it's a ghost. It can be a camera strap. It can be an obstruction. It can be a double exposure. It can be a lens flare. It can be somebody walking into the frame of the picture. It can be camera blur. It can be camera movement. There are so many different ways that can be misinterpreted as a ghost. And then you have the orb phenomena, which is entirely different upon itself. Bugs and insects, moisture droplets, digital flaws. The idea of at least 85% can be explained away is a good hit ratio. Of the remaining 15% falls into a category which are divided into two categories: paranormal and supernatural. Supernatural would be a definitive picture that we can really ascertain was caused by a spirit. Maybe in the case of the 1991 photograph at Bachelor's Grove. The other remaining percent, and that's really small, by the way. We're talking maybe 2 or 3%, maybe 4% at tops, are really supernatural images. It's extremely difficult. Many people don't understand it. Extremely difficult to get an image of a ghost on a film that you can really say definitively it's a ghost. It's not naturally explained. The other, say, 10 or 12% fall into what we call paranormal. We just simply don't know what it is. Paranormal basically is a word just meaning unknown. It can be something supernatural, but right now we haven't been able to determine what it is. It's just beyond our science or our knowledge to say it's naturally explained or supernatural. So it's kind of like in the middle. We're kind of on the fence. The image in 1991, obviously, I would put in the category of being supernatural. There's really no other explanation for this. I was there at the time. Nobody in our group was dressed like that. I mean, we were all dressed. This was a summer afternoon. We were dressed in short sleeve shirts, blue jeans. Nobody dressed in a full-length gown sitting on a tombstone. Some even went as far as to say it was my wife sitting on the tombstone. It doesn't look anything like my wife, by the way. And the idea that I would falsify an image just for the saying that it was something supernatural when it was really somebody faking that image, I would not put my credibility on the line for being a researcher for more than 40 years now for one picture or for any picture. You know what I mean? It's just something I would not do. You know, if I knew for a fact that that was a faked image, I would call out in an instant and say it was a fake. And when I talk to people all the time on the internet, when they send me pictures, you know, lots of times I burst their bubble. That's not what they want to hear. They get very upset with me sometimes. They say, oh no, you're absolutely wrong. It's got to be a ghost. I said, well, it's not. I said, well, you asked for my opinion. And that's what I'm giving you, my opinion. I may not always be right, but I believe in the case, I'm 90% sure, maybe more than 90% sure, that this is a definitive paranormal photograph that was taken by Judy Huff using high-speed 400 ASA infrared film.